Hi friends, this is NJ, host on this channel. So we will continue our discussion on the Bharani Nakshatra. In the first part where we have discussed the deity, the gods attached to this nakshatra, the symbol attached to this nakshatra and the functioning of this nakshatra. In this part we will try to understand the personality traits and all the things which you need to know in order to gain a grip on this nakshatra. Because in our Hindu, the Vedic astrology system, which is a sidereal system, which is more driven by the moon, these astral bodies have been seen with a proper personality. So if you have to define someone's personality, there has to be a proper gender attached to it, there has to be a proper caste attached to it. So all of that we will discuss in this part. So before we'll start our discussion on this Bharani Nakshatra, just a quick recap of all what we have studied so far. We have already discussed that behind each zodiac sign, there is the energy of three different nakshatras. The very first nakshatra, which was the Ashwini Nakshatra, which we have discussed to the core. Now when it comes to the Bharani Nakshatra, within this Aries zodiac sign. So if the Aries zodiac sign is of 30 degree of space, we have already discussed the space from the 0 degree to the 13 degree 20 minutes, which was allotted to the Ashwini Nakshatra. Now we are discussing about the space from 13 degree 20 minute to the 26 degree 40 minutes within the Aries zodiac sign. So it's very simple. If a planet is transiting the 5 degree of the Aries zodiac sign, that means that planet is transiting the Ashwini part of the Aries zodiac sign. Same planet, let's say for example, if transiting the 15 degree of the Aries zodiac sign, then that means that planet is transiting the Bharani part of the Aries zodiac sign. So in the last video we have discussed that the deity attached to this Bharani Nakshatra is the Lord Yama. Yama, who is the god of death. It's Lord Yama's duty to take the soul from the physical plane to the astral plane, where all the karmas which the soul in the form of the physical body has gone through, that has been accounted, that has been taken care, and accordingly the soul gets the next life. So all of that is the role of the Lord Yama, which just gives this hint about this nakshatra, that this nakshatra has a lot to do with the discipline, with the fortitude, with the virtues, along with the huge transformation. Death in this context doesn't only mean the actual death, it can also be seen as, getting rid of all the negativity, of all the impurities. The second deity attached to this Bharani Nakshatra is the goddess Kali, the ferocious and the very wild form manifestation of the feminine divine of the goddess Durga. And the symbol attached to the Bharani Nakshatra is the female reproductive organ, which is a vagina, that has been attached to this nakshatra. Now that means, see, Bharani, the name itself means one who bears, she who bears. So it just gives us this hint that all the kind of the nurturing, the creative aspect, the creative aspect of the feminine can be attached to this nakshatra. The story behind why this yoni or the vagina has been attached to it, I've already explained. Our ancient sages, when they looked in this at the sky, they saw 3 stars, faint stars, forming a symbol of a triangle. They assumed it as a female reproductive organ, and this is how this name fall and this symbol got attached to this nakshatra. And when it comes to the functioning of this nakshatra has a lot to do with the extremism, like all those teenage people who are confused in their life. They do not know what to do, what not to do. All what they have is the intensity. So same like a adolescent or a teenage child, where that child needs to be properly monitored, his action needs to be monitored. Same ways, people under the strong influence of this nakshatra needs to be monitored properly. Only if you want a Bharani native to reach his goals, to attain his objectives. This nakshatra also tells about the artistic and the creative talents, because Bharani Nakshatra is ruled by the planet Venus, and it has fallen in the domain of the Aries zodiac sign, which is being ruled by the planet Mars. So Mars and the Venus is a combination which gives you passion, which gives you artistic and the creative abilities. So all of that we have discussed in the last video. Now we will start our discussion on further understanding the personality of this nakshatra. When it comes to the caste attached to the Bharani Nakshatra, so the caste attached to the Bharani Nakshatra is an outcast, the mlecha, the outcast, because of the tendency of this nakshatra to do not abiding the social norms, to break all the the taboos and taboo breaking attitude. So it has been attached the outcast as our ancient sages. When it comes to the gender attached to this nakshatra is of a female gender. So the feminine energy manifests and starts taking predominance from this nakshatra, which is the nakshatra number 2 in the series of the total 27 nakshatras. You guys need to understand that when it comes to the sexuality, so our ancient sages, although who abided by the celibacy, so they used this a refrainment from the sexuality to arise and awaken their kundalini shakti. So that is all what this nakshatra is all about. It's all about the extremism. So this nakshatra can take someone to the verge of perversion, extreme sexual indulgence, or this can also take someone to celibacy, complete refrainment from the sexuality. So all of that we get to know from this. This nakshatra is also about the secrecy, because whether it is the process of the childbirth, the fetus taking form in the womb, or the sexual acts, all of those things take place in secrecy. So these nakshatra, the influence of this nakshatra also make people very secretive in their abilities, in their behavior. So all of that we get to know just by understanding the deities, the symbols attached to this nakshatra only. And there's one more thing, the houses, if you'll take into consideration, the Bharani Nakshatra, if you will make that into the ascendant, so the second and the seventh house will again be ruled by the planet Venus, the rulership of this Bharani Nakshatra. Which second and the seventh house, apart from your wealth, your resources, your partner, they're also seen as the Maraka houses, the killer houses. So all of about the sexuality and the creativity and the transformation, life and death, extremism takes place in this nakshatra. The direction ruled by the Bharani Nakshatra is the west direction. When it comes to the body parts and the humor, the Ayurvedic constitution, so body parts ruled by Bharani Nakshatra is the head and the bottom part of the feet. Now, again you'll find a, very eerily kind of connection over here as well, because at the time of childbirth, either the head part of the body or the feet comes out first. So these two body parts, the head and the bottom part of the feet, are attached with this Bharani Nakshatra. The humor, it has been attached with the Pitta constitution, the fiery constitution. When it comes to the Guna, Tattva and the Gana, so Guna attached to this Bharani Nakshatra, it belongs to the Rajasic Guna, because of the association of the planet Venus. And I have already explained at the introductory video that this nakshatra has the capacity to attain good amount of wealth. So Venus is the only planet which you need to have in order to attain all the material fulfillment in this life. So Rajasic is the essence of this nakshatra. The Tattva, it belongs to the earth element. Now there can be so many ways to look at it. The animal attached to this nakshatra is the male elephant. So which is the the largest mammal on the earth. So there can be so many association with it, but yes, the element attached to this Bharani Nakshatra is the earth element. The Gana type, when it comes to the Gana type, this nakshatra belongs to the Manushya Gana. When it comes to the auspicious and the inauspicious activities, so the auspicious activities, just because this nakshatra is first of all suited for all kind of activities which requires termination. It is not very much suited for the beginning, it is more suited for the termination. It is also suited because all those kind of activities which requires either sexual act which requires very destructive, very upheavals, very where you need to get rid of the impurities of your life, where you want to get rid of all the relationship which has taken its course. You just want to get rid of all of that. So all of those things where the extremism is involved, destructive approach is required, where children are required, where sexuality is required, can be seen as auspicious here. Inauspicious activities, I have already explained that the beginning of something is not something good which you can think of it at the time of predominance of the Bharani Nakshatra. Bharani Nakshatra is also attached to all kind of traffic jams, all kind of accidents. So while taking a road journey at the time of the Bharani Nakshatra is something also you should take after lots of contemplation. the disposition, the lunar month and the day. So when it comes to the first of all the lunar month and the day, so this as per the Hindu calendar, the lunar calendar, this this nakshatra falls at the second part of the Ashwin month, which falls in the month of the October. And when it comes to the days, so the fourth day, the Chaturtithi of both the waxing and the waning phases of the moon is attached to this nakshatra of each month. The Chaturtithi, the fourth day of both the waxing and the waning phases of the moon. This is a downward looking nakshatra. So all those activities where you need to do the gardening, you need to dig the well, so all of that gets attached to this nakshatra. When it comes to the sexual type and the gotra, so the sexual type I have already explained. The sexual type, the animal which is associated with this nakshatra is the male elephant. So I have already explained. When it comes to even the sexual appetite, this nakshatra takes the lead amongst all the nakshatras. All what matters is that the extremism will again be found over here, either extreme indulgences or completely getting away from it, getting rid of it. When it comes to the gotra, the celestial lineage, because in our Hindu Vedic astrology system, each of us belongs to a particular lineage, a clan. So the sage out of the the 7 stars, the sage which has been attached with this nakshatra is the sage Vasisht. So which in itself means possessor of wealth, and this nakshatra has the capacity to attain good span amount of wealth. When it comes to the profession and the places, so the profession, all of those professions which requires taking care of the children. Now whether it could be form of some nursery, school, tuition center and nannies and all kind of where the sexuality is involved. That could be a porn star, that could be a strip teaser, that could be any kind of a person who deals in sexuality. It also requires entails, encompasses all kind of profession which requires birth or death in some form. So all those people who work in the mortuary, who takes care of the account of the life and death, all of that gets attached to this nakshatra. This nakshatra is also associated with the film industry, the entertainment world, the photography. So all of that can be attached as the profession and the places associated with this Bharani Nakshatra. So this is all what I wanted to say as my take on the second part of the Bharani Nakshatra. In the last final part, we will try to get into the core of the functioning of this nakshatra, where we will understand the further 4 classification of this nakshatra, along with the certain list of remedies which an individual can think of opting if he is going through the affliction posed by this nakshatra. So I hope you guys found this video informational. For further more updates and notification on astrology, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks.